Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon where you live around the world. Well, back on this dome, and we're going to try and make this very quick one. Well, relatively quick. Well, relatively quick to the previous three that I've made that I've deleted. Anyway, already getting long. Back on the same dome, change of colour, because the other colour was screwing with my eyeballs. So I made this a bit darker colour, so yeah, that's the only difference. Same model, different colour. What have we got? Steel hubs. We've still got the tubular hubs. Well, yes, I want to look at them a little bit more. Give me the bit more information on it and perhaps the reasons for using it or not using it. Always good to have the negative as well. What have I got here? Well, we've got a 140 millimeter diameter hub, 140 millimeters deep. Just a coincidence those two measurements are roughly the same, but we'll go with it. So we've got a steel hub there, and I'm just showing it with a 5 millimeter wall thickness. And hide that. What have we got here? The angle that the struts are angled down from, in this case horizontal, is 9.7 degrees. Well, that just happens to be, obviously, the angle that you would cut on the end of your strut. So this angle here is 9.7 degrees or 80.3, depending upon how you view and use your miter saw. Some miter saws have both angles, which makes sense. And it may be different for yours. I don't know, because I don't have your miter saw. So there's that angle there. One of them that you'd go with 80.3 or 9.7. Just showing it for interest's sake. You can hide that. 3 fixings. Okay, you're not going to put 3 fixings in there. It's going to be probably 2. You've got a choice of a screw which can be inserted after the hubs have been assembled. Talk about that in a moment. But as likely, you'd go with the bottom. Well, you'd go with the bottom bolt or threaded rod, which would constitute probably 90% of your structural requirements, and these would be 20%. Okay, do the maths, but it's going to make the whole structure much stronger having a top fixing. I like this idea because it does away with one whole issue of putting in another bolt and hole and all the rest of it. So that has a lot going. This has a lot going for it, and it's simple, and it's quick, and it's easy-ish. Has the downside that if you want to demount anything, or take the whole thing apart for whatever reason, pulling that screw out might not be as easy, because it may seize in the fibres, especially if it's long, and you could snap the shaft, and then you're buggered. You wouldn't then be able to reinsert it because there's already a bit broken off inside. That sort of thing. Can you pre-drill the hole? Yes, suggested actually. And could you oil or grease the hole? Yes, probably a good idea. But that way there'll be a bit of anti-seize going on with the threads of the screw. Could be quite long, and the resins in the fibre doesn't grab it. I've been in the situation where the heads have snapped off of quite chunky screws. Very, very annoying. So let's just say yes, possibility, but we don't know. So we can hide that. This is more likely the configuration here. 2 bolts or threaded rods. Bolts would be better, but they would have to be able to be inserted. How would you say? They have to be inserted first, but then you've got to figure out how you get the hubs over. Oh, have I ever mentioned a split ring hub? Well, yes, I have. Well, that's how you would do it. So not that difficult, is it? But it would be better to have a single hub, I would suggest. Either way. Is that true? Yes. Okay, let's just accept that. If you go with a threaded rod like this, it becomes particularly difficult when you're assembling an area like this. You might be able to assemble the first half or most of them, but the more you do that, it becomes harder and harder to put the last ones in, because you can't push or pull these ones here because they've got, like to get the other struts in, because there's one in the opposing direction stopping you doing that very thing. So a split ring option may be more viable. Not as strong as a solid steel hub single piece. So there's all of that to be considered. Now, do we go with a solid steel dowel here, threaded with the required thread? I would suggest that's probably the easiest thing. Or do we go with a steel plate like this, also drilled and threaded to take the threaded rod or the bolt? I like this. It has a certain elegance to it, but it does have the problem of doing it, whereas this is just a good quality tungsten bit or something, Forstner bit or something to give you a nice clean hole. The dowel doesn't have to be the full width, and probably suggestion that it's not. You could make it 5 or 10 mils in, like recessed, and then you could plug the holes. That would look really tidy. Just give you a level of aesthetic appeal that you wouldn't otherwise have. So the looks are important. This, you'd have to drill holes and then, get a mortising chisel and tidy it up, and the complexities are there that you perhaps don't need to do or put up with. And there is some suggestion that because the hole's square, it puts some stress on the timber that you perhaps would prefer not to be there. Really? Don't know whether that's an issue. This is certainly not an issue, because easy to do. So let's just say for the moment that even though this could look quite nice, has its place, we won't be looking at this. So we go to a solid steel dowel here, 25 millimeters I would suggest in diameter. 20 could be possible, fairly chunky, but by the time you put a bolt through it, maybe this is a 12 mil bolt. So 20 mil, viable and easily got. Anyway, it's whatever size, 20 to 25 mil. Does it need to be solid steel? Nope. It could well be a thick-walled pipe. By the time you've gone through both walls, you've got quite a bit of thread engagement. Probably never going to be an issue. It's also a lot cheaper and lighter, etc. Does it have to be a full round? No. If they were even available, a solid steel dowel cut in half, there may be a rationale that you'd want to do that. Don't know what it is, but if that was what you wanted to do, thread it up, etc. So there's all these possibilities. Which one would I go with? No idea. Probably the steel pipe to begin with, but in the higher demand area, I might go with a solid dowel. So, am I going to develop up this model much further? Probably not. More than likely go back to the tabbed plates, do most of my work on that. But this was an exercise that I needed to, and I think we needed to go through. You may still prefer this, and this is going to be much later on in the development of Sketchy Builder channel, but it may be possible to take these sorts of models a bit further. But there will be a demand upon you lot, all 2.5 years that are watching this, and I make it with a little bit of tongue in cheek, but I say this sort of interest area is a niche within a niche within a niche. So the appeal is very limited. So yeah, diminishing returns. The more specialised you become, the less broad market it's going to appeal to. But I would like to develop the Sketchy Builder channel further, not just simply in domes, by the way. And it may well be that there'll be some aspects of the modelling that I can help you out with, or we can help each other out with. So, yeah. Some of these models are not necessary, but are handy to have to go through these exercises so you can actually see how they interact with your model and the way you can use it. For example, like trying to get a screw in here, you've got to make sure you can get it in. And it may well be that you can angle the screw at a slightly different angle to get it in and all the rest of it. And you may then find that you need an interface. This is the whole idea. Have the model, go through the exercise, realise that by putting something on an angle, you can't have it pushing up against the steel like that because it would load the head up and you could snap the shaft when you went to tighten it up or under load. So don't do that. So you need, anyway, I think hopefully I've explained that in the other videos as well. That's quite an important aspect, the interface between your fixings and what you're fixing onto. Okay, well that's it. Much shorter than it was in the previous video. I've created a separate file now, as I said in the previous video too. It can get a little bit nebulous once you keep on developing the model and ideas, because most of the information prior to has been superseded or is just simply redundant. Included here the strut outlines. Still think that's a good way of going. And then you can shorten the outlines. In this one, these struts are showing the outline with it shortened 70 millimeters each end to accommodate the strut, the hub. Retain that honeycomb, etc. It's always going to be, that has proven itself very, very beneficial structure to have within the model. Haven't got all the angles in this model because I left them. I forgot to bring them across, but that would need to be done. However, if I'm not going to be developing this model any further, why? So that was one of the thoughts. Okay, well that's reasonably short. Yeah, not much else to say really. The next models will be back to the tabs, so we'll look a little bit more at that. Do want to have a look at what I would be using as a cladding. Yeah, that has its own requirements. If it was an entirely solid top and the only translucent or transparent surfaces were the legs or the openings here, makes for a much easier process. It could be that you combine, transparent top up here, everything else translucent or whatever. Either solid here or up here. I don't know. These two surfaces here, because they're concave, may lend themselves to being made, non-transparent, like clad in plywood and perhaps a rubber-based or liquid-applied waterproofing to those surfaces. Some such. I don't know. Still to come. Rightio, that's it. I'm off. I will leave you with that and I will see you in the next video. Okay. Bye now.